Sabhay, for the nice introduction. And first of all, sorry for the technical glitch which happened just some time back. So yeah, and so thanks to Fuse for providing this opportunity in this pandemic situation. Collaborating with every one of us and creating a virtual platform for all of us to connect together and share our learnings and also knowledge. So yeah, as of now, we have seen wonderful topics on personalized medicine and then big data, R, Python, AI, ML, and some CDs related. So I'll now take you through data visualization and its usage, benefits, some of the use case scenarios in the pharma industry. So yeah, so a small disclaimer. Whatever the opinions expressed in this presentation are, the following slides are solely those of, the presenters and not necessarily to the seniors' health. So, So as some of our friends already, shared about what is data science and its general usage. So I'm skipping initial couple of slides which has the kind of redundant information, and then we'll straightforward take you to the data visualization. So yeah, what is data visualization? So, data visualization is a graphical representation of information and data. So by using visual elements like graph, charts, and maps, data visualization tools provides will see and understand trends, outliers, and a pattern in data. So data visualization is a new era of revolution in this pharma industry. So with using the real-time data visualization in pharma, so analysts and data scientists can monitor, process, and improve manufacturing, drug manufacturing, of course, and data engineering and supply chain management. So I think it is taking some time to go to the next slide. So can you see the next slide? It looks like it is taking time from my end.
We see the slide, the Tableau, Power BI, TIBCO Spotlight. There's a slide with the data visualization tools.
Oh, sorry.
Is that the current slide?
No, actually the slide. Okay.
Do you want me to push slide number 139? Why visualization data?
Can you please show me? Why right? Data matters.
Yeah.
So why is data visualization matters? Economic form. The world produces more than 2.5 quintillions of data, the bytes of data every day. And if you can look at the recent days, like last 2 to 3 years, almost 90% of the data has been created. So with so much of data, it is becoming increasingly difficult to manage and make sense of it all. So it would be difficult for any single user or any single person to wade through the data line by line and see distinct patterns and make some observations. So even if a data analyst can pull some insights from the data without visualizations, so it will be more difficult to communicate the meaning without the visualizations. So charts and graphs make communicating data findings easier, even if you can identify the patterns without them. So because of the way the human brain processes the information, so using charts or graphs to visualize large amounts of complex data is easier than poring over spreads of spreadsheets or the reports. Data visualization is a quicker, easy way to convey the concepts in a universal manner. Can you push to the next slide, please? Okay, so yeah, this slide just a pictorial representation of how any person feels when they are looking into big data sets with multiple data points in a tabular form or in a raw data sets versus when they are organized in a visual form. So next slide, please. Sorry, Jaipanyan, for making you trouble.
No worries. Go ahead.
So, yeah, couple of data tools which are in market are listed in this slide. So please note that this is not the comprehensive list. However, adding some of the tools which are widely used, like Tableau, Power BI, TIBCO Spotfire, SAS Visual Analytics, ClickView, Data Wrapper, JReview, and even R and Python too. And we have seen a couple of the visualizations in Siddharth presentation already. So with using Python just some time back. Next slide, please. So data visualization in pharma industry. Data visualization is widely used in both clinical as well as commercial space. So if you can look at in clinical space, we can use it for drug discovery, data management, and also for data monitoring. And in commercial phase, we can use it for sales and market research analytics, physician marketing, and consumer behavior analytics. Next slide, please. So data visualization benefits in clinical trials. So data visualization provides holistic picture of trial progress. So it offers a summary of key results in a visual format, and we can create the dashboards and also risk-based monitoring, flexibility, reporting, faster analysis of adverse events, spot safety signals for immediate adjustments, broader insights by integrating information from multiple data sets and databases also, and creating the opportunity to review data early and often. So we can see a couple of use cases of data visualization in clinical studies right now. So yeah, next slide, please. So let's start with some of the examples of use case of data cleaning techniques with using data visualization. Okay, so next slide, please. So this is the high-level process flow. Let's say data is collected and stored in a database. And the first step is to identify the right visualization tool. So once the tool is identified, so we can establish the connection between the database and the tool. So we can create any standard reusable templates and then use them in your study. So I have added a couple of examples or useful templates in the right side of this presentation. So adverse events. Identify duplicate adverse events, and then AE with AE out of window, AE action taken against first and last treatment record. And for vital signs reports, vital sign outliers, temperature, pulse, systolic and diastolic blood pressure, and weight. And for labs, we can create the reports, standard reports, and finding out the zero results and duplicate numeric results, and results 50% outside of the range and missing and not done lab tests. These are only some of the sample, reports, but yeah, we can create a lot more reports to review the data. So next slide, please. Okay, so let's look at the difference between traditional method versus using visualizations. So in traditional method, reports are static, and reconciliation reports required page navigation through multiple pages. time-taken process to grasp information from the lines of the data. Reviewing the data from various data sources is a bit challenging. Very like when you use the data visualizations. So we'll have the dynamic visualization reports and a single page with all multiple panels information to understand the data clearly at one place. And decision makers can quickly drop and instantly digest the information. Single point interface to connect to various data sources. So let's look at some of the visual reports and its usage. Yeah, the very first one is the adverse event. So this report is for identification of duplicate or overlapping adverse events. So you can look at the visualization report for potential duplicate adverse events by subjects here. So left-hand side of the graph has the subject and preferred terms for potential duplicate adverse events. So here, I've clicked on the subject 701401, which is highlighted in the green color. So for this specific subject, we can see the details about the adverse event in the right-hand side of the graph. So you can see two lines. So those are the different adverse events. So for the selected preferred term, so we have two adverse events listed with the overlap of days. So first event started on day 2, and the second event started and ended on day 7. And the second event started on day 4 and ended on day 8. So in this example, there is an overlap from day 4 to day 7. So for these two events, it be a potential duplicate adverse event. So data managers will review these events and then send a query to the site to double check. So what site will do? So site will review this data, and if it is a duplicate adverse event, then they will inactivate the corresponding duplicate adverse event. Or else site can choose to update the date if it is not the duplicate. So once it is once the date is updated, then you will not be seeing any duplicate adverse event. So one another functionality of this report is that if you can just click on one of this adverse event, so you can see the data just below that. So the table below shows that the adverse event related data for the highlighted or the selected adverse event. So this way, we no need to go back to the original data set to see what are the details about that particular adverse event. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this graph or the report is for identification of vital sign outliers. So we can plot this report for different vital signs like temperature, pulse, systolic or diastolic blood pressure, respiration, and weight. So in this example, we are looking at the data for the pulse rate distribution. So that is now identify all the vital signs values outside of 2 standard deviations of the mean. So you can see 2 small dotted lines, orange color. So those are the standard deviations of the mean. So lower standard deviation and upper standard deviation of the means. So whatever the units or whatever the dots we are seeing out of the lines are called the outliers. So one point we need to note that just because this the points are outside of the results are outside of the standard deviation mean, it doesn't mean that it is a valid outlier. So what the reviewer will be doing it. So whenever they see any outlier, they will be checking if there is any associated adverse event. So let's say, for example, any person who is having high or low BP as an adverse event, then that will result in high or low pulse rate. So if that adverse event is already present to the associated outlier within these dates, again, we need to make sure that, this is within the same dates. If at all that adverse event is before or after the date, it is not considered. But if the adverse event is also, then we need to query that to the site. Then what site will be doing? So if there is an associated adverse event during these dates, they will, then they will say that, sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, so there are scenarios basically. So one is like, they can further, the site can further analyze and confirm that if it is a clinically insignificant outlier, or else they can record an adverse event which might have caused this scenario. So there might be multiple scenarios or multiple adverse events which can result in lowering or higher blood pressure. So that particular adverse event can be added to the adverse event data set, so that we no need to take any further actions there. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so this is for the labs. This graph represents lab tests by site. So identifying the done lab test across subjects and the sites. This report is being reviewed by site to see the trend of not done visits by each site and alert the study teams accordingly. Yeah, next slide, please. So next, we'll be looking at some more examples or use case scenario of risk-based monitoring techniques with using the data validation. So what is risk-based monitoring? Risk-based monitoring is a clinical trial monitoring technique that fulfills the regulatory requirements but moves away from 100% of source data verification of the patient data or the raw data. So it implies various tools, platforms, and dashboards to identify signals and which indicate potential issues with trial conduct, safety, data integrity, compliance, and enrollment of the subjects. And it allows the study team to concentrate on high-value risks, high-value tasks, and focus resources on specific trial-related matters. So generally, what is the methodology we'll be doing? So first, we'll conduct the risk assessment to identify and evaluate the risk to the critical study data. Then design a monitoring plan tailored to address important and likely risk identified during the risk assessment. So couple of the metrics, we can create it with RBM is like, site performance metrics, site quality metrics, or, site data metrics. Let's say when we say site performance metrics, we can think of like, enrollment or randomization dates, or maybe screen failure rate, or dropout rate. So these are some of the examples. Next slide, please. So what are the benefits of risk-based monitoring? So with risk-based monitoring, so manage trials in a real time and react to potential medical alerts, site metrics and patient behavior, and recognize, address inconsistencies and discrepancies, and reduce the regulatory risk, achieving earlier data reconciliation, enabling faster database lock, optimizing the trial efficacy, thereby lowering the trial cost at the end. Next slide, please. Well, let's look at the difference between the traditional method versus using RBM. What are the benefits? So with using the traditional method, 100% source data verification is required, and error detection not in real time, but at time of visit. And monitoring visits scheduled based on data volume or periodically, and it is purely reactive. And random and highly error prone because the lot of human intervention is required. And extensive resource utilization and thereby cost. However, with using the RBM or the data visualization in RBM, so it is centralized monitoring. So real-time error detection and continuous monitoring, since data is integrated with the database. Whenever you have the new data, it will directly reflect on the output or into your visualization. monitoring visits triggered by risk indicator thresholds, and it is proactive, and cost savings via targeted on-site monitoring. Next slide, please. So in this risk indicator graph, you can see site-wise percentage of patients discontinued, or percentage of patients with adverse events, and percentage of patients with previous medications, and so on. So the first part of the graph shows the different symbols with colors, color identification, and this color identification shows the risk factor. So red shows the high risk, and yellow shows the medium risk, and green shows the low risk. So if you click on one of the site in this graph, I have clicked on one of the site. Sorry, in the same slide, please. So yeah, if you click on one of the site, we will have the information Bhaskar-Vishkar graph on the right side. So this right side graph is used to show the shape of the distribution, its central value, and its variability for percentages of patients discontinued, and percentage of patients with adverse and so on. And the color in this graph is linked to the risk indication factor. So if you are seeing the distribution curve in red zone or red color, so that means that the specific site is in high risk. Then this will enable the reviewer to concentrate on the specific site which are at high risk. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, so cost saving with RBM. So based on the clinical news roundup, companies' average saving from risk-based monitoring is approximately 21 to 23%, and data visualization plays a vital role in achieving this savings. Next slide. So what is the future of the data visualization? So data visualization in coordination with machine learning and artificial intelligence. So machine learning shifts the legwork onto algorithms to learn and automate data recognition and identify patterns, resulting in predictive analysis, find more granular and actionable insights, cater better searches for visualization of the visualization dashboards, and create predictive models. So right now, a majority of the big pharma companies are already using the visual dashboards, but the next phase in to integrate this with AI and ML to get even better results out of it. So with this, I can conclude that with the rising complexities of clinical trials, dynamic data visualization offers the opportunity to simplify decision making by collating disparate sources of information and transforming it into actionable insights. So these insights can in turn be used to guide operational planning and site selection for new clinical trials, thereby accelerating the recruitment, data cleaning, improving the quality, patient safety, and thereby reducing the cost. So yeah, this is my end of the presentation. Thank you, and open for the questions.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Linga. There is one question for you from Bhavin from Bayer. Can you suggest some reference material for visualizations useful in clinical studies?
Okay, so probably I can share that. Maybe since references, I can share it to him if at all specific references required. But it is not just single reference where we can browse through, right? So I can able to share the specific references.
All right. That's it. No more questions. So over to Abhay and Sarvesh.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks. All right. Thank